Hello, what's going on, guys? This is Draco in here, and we're back with another football-related video today. So, I'm going to be ranking where all the teams in both conferences will finish with their season. So, I'll put down the record and who I think is going to make the playoffs, and I'll do the playoff predictions as well, because why not? Okay, so we have the NFC teams over here and the AFC teams over here. So let's start out with the NFC teams. The lowest team in the NFC, I believe, will be the Seattle Seahawks. They will finish with a record of 3-14. And yeah, it's really just because of their quarterbacks. The second worst team in the NFC will be the Atlanta Falcons. I believe they will also finish with a record of 3-14. There's gonna be some really bad teams this year. That's my prediction. The next worst team in the conference will be the Chicago Bears. They will finish with a record of 4-13. They will be one of only two teams in the league to do that. The next worst team in the conference will be the New York Giants. They will finish with a record of 6-11. So, which is actually an improvement from last year, but it's still not good. The next worst team in the conference will be the Giants' own division rivals, the Commanders, who will finish with a record of 7-10, which I think is their same record as last year. The next worst team in the conference will be the Detroit Lions. They will finish with a record of also 7-10. I think that they will definitely increase from last year because they have Jamison Williams and Aiden Hutchinson over there. And honestly, I think last year they could have won more games, but they just threw the games away for some reason. The next worst team in the conference is going to be the Carolina Panthers. I believe they'll also finish with a record of 7-10. So that's an improvement from last year. So I think that Baker will help them at least a little bit. The next worst team in the conference will actually be the San Francisco 49ers. I think Trey Lance doesn't end up panning out, so that they will finish with a record of 8-9. So yeah, they won't make the playoffs. And the final team in the conference to not make the playoffs will be the Minnesota Vikings. They will finish also with a record of 8-9. So yeah, that means these are the playoff teams. The number 7 seed will be the New Orleans Saints. They will finish with a record of, I'm going to go with 9-8. The 6th seed will be the Arizona Cardinals. They will finish with a record of 10-6. Even with DeAndre Hopkins getting suspended, I believe this will be a good year for the Cardinals, as it's, I believe, only one more game lost. Actually, when I said 10-6, I meant 10-7. I don't know why I said 10-6. The 5 seed will be the Dallas Cowboys, but they will actually finish with a pretty impressive record of 12-5. So yeah. The number 4 seed will be the Cowboys' own division rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles. They will finish also with a record of 12-5, but they will get the tiebreaker over the Cowboys. The number 3 seed will be the Green Bay Packers. They will finish with a record of also 12-5, but they will get the tiebreaker over the Eagles for who gets the number 3 seed. They will also play Arizona in the wild card round. But Dallas and Philly won't be the only wild card round division rival matchup, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who will finish with a record of 13-4, will have the number 2 seed in the division. Which means the number 1 seed in the NFC will be the Los Angeles Rams, the defending champions. They will finish with an impressive 15-2 record in this season. So yeah, that's your playoff field for the NFC. Now let's move on to the AFC. So the worst team in the AFC, aka the worst team in football altogether this year, is going to be the Houston Texans. They will finish with a record of 2-15. This will also reward them with the first overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, which right now I have them selecting Alabama QB Bryce Young. So at least they have that going for them. The next worst team in the AFC, I predict, will be the New York Jets. They will finish with a record of 4-13, same as the Bears. The next worst team in the AFC, I believe, will be the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though this will be an improvement. It will only give them a record of 6-11. So, yeah. The Jaguars only improved slightly. The next worst team in the league will actually be the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun's gone for a little bit, but they will still manage to figure out a 7-10 record with Jacoby Brissett as the starter for the majority of the season. The next worst team in the conference will be their division rivals, Pittsburgh, who will finish with a record of 8-9 in this season. The next worst team in their division is the Miami Dolphins. I believe they will finish with a record of 9-8, so they will still have a winning record. But I just don't see them as a playoff team with Tua. I'm sorry, I don't have that much faith in Tua Tagovailoa. The next worst team in the division is the New England Patriots. They will also finish with a record of 9-8, missing the playoffs. In fact, I have 4 teams in the AFC missing the playoffs with a record of 9-8. The next team in that little brigade is the Denver Broncos. I know a lot of people have hope for them to make the playoffs this year, but I don't have them in the playoff field yet. And yeah, like, they have a brand new head coach, so I'm not sure how to feel about that. And the final team to miss the playoffs in the AFC will be the Tennessee Titans. They will also finish with a record of 9-8. Their defense isn't great, but they do have Derrick Henry, so that's why they're that high on this list. Alright, so anyway, the number 7 seed in the AFC will be the Las Vegas Raiders, making the playoffs for the second consecutive year. They will finish with a record of, you guessed it, 9-8. The number 6 seed in the conference will actually be the Cincinnati Bengals. The defending AFC champs will be relegated to a wild card team, but they will still make the playoffs with a record of 11-6. So that's not terrible. And the number 5 seed will be the Los Angeles Chargers. They will have a record of 12-5, which will be the highest out of all the wild card teams. So yeah. Anyway, the number 4 seed playing the Chargers in wild card weekend will be the AFC South winning Colts. However, they will only finish with a record of 10-7. So that is actually worse than the Chargers record. The number 3 seed in the conference will be the Baltimore Ravens playing their division rival Bengals. They will finish with a record of 12-5. The 2 seed in the division will be the Kansas City Chiefs. They will finish with a record of 13-4, meaning the AFC regular season champions are going to be the Buffalo Bills. They will finish with also a record of 13-4. However, they will get the tiebreaker over the Chiefs. Alright, so here are my playoff grid predictions for both conferences. I know they're really boring. A bunch of them are not different at all, but whatever. The AFC is at least a little more different. But yeah, let's go with the wild card weekend predictions for early in the season. Let's start out with the 2-7 games because these are pretty much already decided anyway. The Bucs will beat the Saints easily, and the Chiefs will beat the Raiders over in the AFC. So both the Saints and the Raiders are eliminated. Now let's go with the 3-6 games. I'm going to have the Packers beat the Arizona Cardinals. They will move on to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the AFC, I'm actually going to have the Bengals beat the Ravens, as they will end up playing the Bills, as the Bills are number 1 seed. So yeah, the Ravens get upset, I guess, by the Bengals, even though they have similar records. And in the 4 and 5 games, I'm going to have the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry, but the Eagles are just a better team than the Cowboys right now, in my opinion. And in the AFC, the Chargers will beat the Indianapolis Colts. So yeah, here's the next round, divisional round is up. I'm going to start out with a little bit of a shocker, as the Philadelphia Eagles will beat the Los Angeles Rams in an upset victory to move on to the NFC Championship game. The Bills, however, will not do the same to the Bengals. They will advance to the AFC Championship game for 2023. I have the Bucs beating the Packers. They will move on to the NFC Championship game, I should say. And over here, I'm going to have the Chargers beat the Chiefs to move on to the AFC Championship game. So yeah, no Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game this year. First time since 2017 that the Chiefs won't be in that game. Alright, so let's go on to the NFC and AFC Championship games. The Cinderella story for the Eagles ends as Tampa Bay wins and moves on to Super Bowl 57. As for the AFC, I have the Bills beating the Chargers, I almost said the Chiefs, and moving on to Super Bowl 57. So here is my prediction for Super Bowl 57, which seems to be the exact same as everybody else's predictions in the NFL. And just like everyone else in the NFL, I am going to have the Buffalo Bills winning the Super Bowl. So yeah, Buffalo is my prediction for the Super Bowl. They will beat Tom Brady and the Bucs in the Super Bowl. Wouldn't that be something for the Bills to finally get their first win and have it be against Tom Brady of all people? So yeah, those are my early season NFL predictions. And yeah, let's see how it ends up in a couple months when the playoffs start. Alright, bye.